Hey everybody, this is Matthew from StrategyGamecast.com. This is another Zerg tutorial. If you haven't already watched the first one on fast speedlings, I suggest you do that first, because there's my little rebuttal on build orders and how they are useful sometimes and how they are useful not some other times. So here I want to show you the build order for fast roaches. And I got the original one from Starcraft Legacy, or sclegacy.com. Done some modifications to it because I found that you ended up with too many minerals and too few gas. Although it can still use a bit of tweaking now, because in this one I end up with a little bit too much gas and not quite enough minerals. And so there's, as with all build orders, there's always tweaking, there's always personal preference. But this is the one that I use to get roaches out really, really quickly. Just before I explain when to use them, just understand that first we're still going for the typical 10 Overlord and then 14 spawning pool. And what I mean by 10 and 14 is that once you have 10 supply, you build an Overlord, and once you have 14 supply, and in this case it'll be just drones, you will build a spawning pool. So that's what that annotation means, or that notation means. And normally you would also want to scout out, but I know I'm Zerg versus Zerg and I'm against a computer opponent, so I know exactly what he's going to do, which is basically suck. So I'm not too worried about that. Fast roaches is useful against Zerg versus Zerg. You just have to make sure that you do scout at their base to make sure they're not doing a fast speedling. So as I said, as soon as you get up to 14, you go over and you make your spawning pool. You can place it in a better position than that if you like. I usually like to put them back here, but I was just throwing it down really quickly because I didn't really care for this video. And then what we do is we get up to 15, and then we build an Extractor. Now the original build was to have the Extractor at 17, but I found that I was just sitting on way too many minerals, and you're not building your larva as fast as you can because the queen's not out yet, so I didn't really need to wait that long to get the Extractor. So I got it at 15 instead. And then once you get back up to 16 drones, you're going to build an Overlord in anticipation of building your queen, which will then max out your supply. So the moment that Extractor is done, you get 3 drones on it. I actually put those even a little early, just so that they were working on it right away, because you do need that gas, because roaches do cost 25 gas each. As soon as the spawning pool is done, we do build a queen. If we watch the production line here, you can see that there's an Overlord and a queen being built. And right as soon as that's done, you go for a Roach Warren. So you're going for a Roach Warren at 18 supply, which happens as soon as you get that queen. Then what you can do is you can work yourself up to about 20 supply of drones, and right at 18 I go for the second Extractor. Now where I made a mistake here is I put 3 drones on that Extractor as soon as it was done and pulled them off the mineral line. I would actually only put 1 or 2 of them. Just watch your minerals and transfer them back and forth, because I needed that little extra gas to be able to continually pump out roaches, but by taking 3 drones off the line and putting them on that Extractor, I actually had too few minerals. So there's got to be a happy balance in there, probably 1 or 2 drones. And then the queen pops out, spawns larvae, and then you just sit back, and the moment the Roach Warren is ready, you start to pump out roaches. If you look at my minerals and gas, you see I have plenty of gas, enough right now for 8 roaches, but of course the minerals that cost 75, at least at this patch, cost 75 minerals for a roach. And so we're just going to have to, I'll get bogged down a little bit there, and I'll start to transfer over. But as you'll see, we still get a lot of roaches out pretty quickly. So those roaches are all ready, and we're just going to pump out 4 more, plus an Overlord. Always make sure that you're building Overlords way before you run out of supply, because with the spawn larva, you're all of a sudden building 4 more units, and so if you wait till then to build your Overlord, then you're going to fall a bit behind. So already we have roaches heading out across the map, and we have 4 more on the way, and the Overlord just popped out, so we are still good. We're 27 over 34, and as soon as those larvae are done, we will be pumping out even more roaches. So we have 1 more roach coming, and we see those 4 more pop down, and the queen goes back, spawns more, and then we have more roaches being built. So we already have a group going across the board here. The reason this works well against Zerg is because if they do happen to just only have Zerglings by this point, sure, the computer just builds everything, so it's not really a good build order for them. If they only have Zerglings, roaches are very effective against Zerglings because they have so many hit points, 145 hit points, and they do have 1 armor, at least in this iteration of the beta, which makes Zerglings very ineffective against them. And they do lots of damage, 16 damage per shot, and they have a ranged attack. So as soon as you have a group out here, you can start to move in and start to destroy your opponent. And I'm now supply blocked at 34, building another Overlord, and the computer, of course, really sucks and has nothing. And so here I go in and start to just attack. Really what you want to do is micro them and get them up into the mineral line, because most likely you're not going to beat your opponent with this. You're just going to really harass his mineral line and then take control of the board. If he goes for a fast expand, this is even better, because you're able to take out his fast expansion, which he's invested a lot of his resources into, and then proceed into his main base, snipe out his queen, go for his drones. It's very, very effective against them. And you can see the awesome Zerg player responds by building drones and another queen and one roach. So obviously they're not that good. So we already have tons, and I love how they GG. So I just responded to him. You too. You know, good game, computer who can't understand me. And I already have tons of roaches out there. If we look at the unit count here, I have 22 roaches out and a queen. Just going through already in this game. We're only 8 game minutes in, and there's already 22 roaches. I think I stopped building at this point just because who cares? Oh no, we got 5 more roaches on the way. Just because you never know, they might have something hidden that I wasn't aware of. So there we are. So that's the fast roach build, very effective against Zerg, still effective against Protoss and Terran as well, but I especially like it against Zerg on a 1v1 on 2-player maps where I can rush in there and use them with great effect. And there you have it. This is again Matthew from StrategyGamecast.com. Don't forget to go to StrategyGamecast.com for even more replays and tutorials. Have a great day.